Hello friends, welcome to ASP.NET tutorial. In this video, we will see how to display calendar control as a pop-up control. One can also display a calendar control as a pop-up box and pick date from there. Say for example, if you want to fill the date in a text box, and you can place some image icon or a button, and when you click this button it will pop up a calendar control, and from there you can pick a specific date and populate the picked date in the text box. So that's what we are going to see here in this video. And pick date from there, that means from the pop-up box, then display the picked date in some other control like a text box or a label. So let me reiterate once again. One can display a calendar control as pop-up box and pick date from there. So this is the pop-up box. Then display the picked date in some other control like text box or label or some other control. The picture beside shows the calendar control placed inside a div tag placeholder. So if you see, this is the div tag, and inside this div tag the calendar control is placed. Right, div tag is a HTML tag, and we will open a div tag, and inside that we will place the calendar control. Then we will use CSS cascading style sheet to control the visibility of the calendar control. So we will set a display as none to hide it initially. After that, whenever a user clicks the image or button, we will set the visibility so that the calendar will be visible and the user can pick a date. In the post back, we render the picked date. So in the post back means once a user picks the date, then we will display the picked date in the text box. Let's see the example, and we will go to the demo now. Now we will make use of our existing solution, rich controls, and add new web form. Okay, we are naming it as RC02, calendar as Popup .aspx. We will open one more div tag here. Inside this div tag, we will place the calendar control. We already have a div tag, and in this we will place other controls. So inside this div tag, here if you see, we are placing a label control. Right, we are displaying the label control. ID is label, run at server, and text is pick date. Then we have a bear tag, and we have a text box. And text box, we are naming it as txt date. Then here we are displaying the image tag, and this cal image is not there, so we will create that. For that, we will go to paintbrush. For now, here we opened a paintbrush, and this calendar image is taken as icon from web search. Now we will save this or go for save as PNG image, and we will pick some temporary location. And if you see, cal image is what we are referring. So C drive temp1. So C temp1, we will cut this to the clipboard, and since there is a images folder, we will create a new folder here. Add new folder, and we will name it as images folder. Right click and do the paste. So the image was already there in the clipboard, and it will get copied here. So now image is ready, and now this image src tag becomes valid. And just click save all. Okay, we will open that and save it as a JPEG. Let's see what happens. So PNG should actually save it, but not sure what is happening. Copy. Okay, here we just removed the tilt sign, and after removing the tilt sign, it is picking the image, and we will delete the PNG version. Now here on click, we are displaying the, or we are making call to the JavaScript function. And if you see, this is not ASP. Text box is ASP control, and this one is the ASP control. And the image here, we are not using ASP control, we are using the HTML one. That's why tilt doesn't work here. So we gave the relative path, and this will be our JavaScript function. Now we will write the JavaScript function that will get called on click of this specific image. So inside the second div tag, we will place our calendar control. So you can see calendar control we placed, and we named it as cal ctrl. Let me hit control save, and by default we need to hide this, and we should show this when user clicks the icon or this calendar image. For that we have to write the JavaScript function. So since this is our second div tag which displays the calendar control, we will assign a ID, and we will set dt picker for this ID. So in order to hide the control initially, this is our calendar control, right? We need to hide this div tag. For that, we'll go to this head section and define a CSS. So here we are defining the CSS style. If you see, this is the CSS style type text CSS, and the hash here denotes ID. ID is dt picker, right? Hash dt picker, and Here we are specifying the style. So this is the selection rule. In the selection rule, we specified the ID DT picker. Then display, if you see, we are setting it as none. Now, if you render, it will not show the calendar control. But when it is shown, there will be a border style as well as a border color. Border color, we are setting it as brown. And here we are giving the solid color. There are other style also. You can look at the syntax, dotted, dash. There are variety of style, but we will pick the simple solid one. Alright, now let's run this file. And if you see, the calendar control is not displayed because we set the initial property as display none. Next, we will place a JavaScript code, and we can include that in the head section itself. And here is our JavaScript function. Let me make the alignment. Right. So document dot get element by ID. So this is the DOM traversal, and in get element by ID we are giving the function name itself by ID, right? So we are giving the ID. So this is the ID we are giving. That means we are getting the div tag. So DTP, so div tag for date time picker. So that's what here we are storing, and then we are accessing the style and setting the display from none to black. So when this will happen when the function display DT picker will get executed. So display DT picker is a JavaScript function, and it will get invoked when user clicks the HTML image. So this is not ASP control, and it will not run at server. If you look at here, label run at server and generates the label. Text box will be generated at server, and that will push input element to the HTML. But here this is not run at server, it's a direct HTML, and we shown a we shown an image, and on click of this image we are making call to the DT picker, and when DT picker is called, the default display is changed to black here. That means the calendar control will be shown. User can pick a date from the calendar control. So since the calendar control is displayed, and since it's a server-side control, ASP control, we can handle event for it. Now we will go to property and choose selection changed. Once I double click, we will be getting the handler, and at the same time in the calendar control you can see the selection changed is handled. Now we will go here, write the handler code, and this handler code will run on the ASP server. If you see, we are making call to our calendar control and picking the selected date, and we are converting that to short date string. Then this will return a string, and we are setting it to our text box txt date. Right, this is txt date. Now we will build this solution once, and before that, if you look at the code to recap what we did, we have a CSS style to initially hide the calendar control contained by the DT picker, and DT picker is a div. So div is a black level element which holds the calendar control, and we are initially hiding it. Then we have a JavaScript function which picks the DT picker, which is nothing but the div tag, and sets the display property. from none to, I mean this is CSS property, display is changed from none to block. So once it is displayed, user can interact with the calendar control, and when they pick a date, we get on selection changed, and the server side event will be handled, and in that we are setting the text. Alright, now we will run it, and when I click here it will show the calendar control, and you can look at the border style here. We set border style as brown with the style solid. Alright, now we will go to the Edge browser, and we will pick a specific date, and the picked date is shown here. But here if you see, when we navigate the time, we have to click each and every time. So that means we have to further handle this in the JavaScript code, and set the block property when the item is when a specific date is clicked. That's all here in this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.